UFC 317 and Saturday night in Las Vegas with the lightweight and flyweight belts on the line. The prelims begin at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, ESPN Plus in English and Spanish, with the main card at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. Buy it at espnplus.com/ppv.
Before I even started the sport, I had a vision to go down as one of the greatest fighters of all time.
So I guess people want to know about me. Here we go.
Jon Jones is the youngest champion in UFC history. Jon Jones, dominant once again. Avoided no one, dominated everyone. Jon Jones is not willing to lose. In the zone, Jon. You get in the zone.
I've been through a lot to get to this point. I'm still here.
And I'm seeing clear 'cause if
I would like to be remembered as a champion who did everything in the sport, who came, saw, and conquered.
I'm champion! He is the GOAT!
My destiny is to be the greatest martial artist of all time.
Jon Jones officially retired on Saturday, capping one of the greatest careers in UFC history. Jones relinquishes his UFC heavyweight belt and finishes his career with a UFC record 16 title fight wins and is one of 9 fighters to win UFC titles in 2 different divisions. Joining us to break down this huge news, former champ Daniel Cormier, DC, and a Super Bowl champ, Ryan Clark, who is a huge UFC fan as well. All right, guys, thank you so much for being with us. And I want to start with you, DC. Obviously, you were one of his biggest rivals. But a lot of people are saying that Jones retired because he's ducking Aspinall. And we know that if we know anything about Dana White, he's not going to let him hold up the belt. Do you think that's a fair statement to make?
I think that when you look at Jon Jones in his career, him ducking anyone doesn't seem like it's a possibility. Ryan Clark put in our group message on Saturday, he isn't ducking anyone. But by doing it the way that he did, by not saying, I retire in November after beating Stipe Miocic, he allows for us to have the conversation. Because it was kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road, kick the can down the road, till eventually he goes, I really just don't want to do it. It was more money. He got the money. So it just at least gives you the conversation. As a guy that spent so much time with him in the octagon, it's hard for me to believe that he ducked. But it does allow us to talk about it now because of the way he handled us leading to this decision.
DC, good to see you as always. Of course, you DCRC, love y'all, man. Here's the thing for me. I'm never going to accuse Jon Bones Jones of ducking anyone. The only fight he's lost in his UFC career is a disqualification, for crying out loud. The man basically is undefeated in the octagon. He's the greatest that I've ever seen. He ain't scared of anybody. He ain't ducking anybody. Here's what I will say. He is the kind of person that is temperamental. If you get on his nerves and you discuss him, yeah, if he's already signed a fight with you, then he'd be ready to kick your ass. If he hasn't fought for you, he considers it a privilege to fight him. And Aspinall, he's already been on the record saying the guy annoys me. I don't like him. I want to know how much believability, DC and RC, do y'all believe there is to the assertion he's refusing to fight because everybody wants him to fight this guy, and this guy disgusts him so much he doesn't want to give the guy the privilege of being in the octagon against him. What do y'all say to that?
Go ahead, RC.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
I
I'll
wouldn't
go.
put it past him, right? I wouldn't put it past him. We could see Jon Jones being petty, but I don't think he gets to do that in this case. And now, Dana White has always allowed Jon Jones to move with this freedom through the UFC that not many people get. And it's because he believes he's the greatest of all time. But Jon Jones picked all of these fights. He picked Cyril Gane to be his return fight. He picked Stipe Miocic to be what he considered a legacy fight, when everybody in the entire mixed martial arts world understood that Tom Aspinall is up next. understood that Tom Aspinall is the guy that is tearing through the heavyweight division in a way that we've never seen. I don't believe it's about disgust. I believe it's about Jon Jones truly not wanting to take this fight. And DC already said it. I texted the group chat. I said, Jon Jones ain't ducking no smoke. But there is a reason he doesn't want to take this fight. And it could just be that he's done having to fight that hard to get a win. And sometimes I believe you've had your last time you want to go to that dark place. And maybe he doesn't want somebody that's going to take him there.
DC?
So Ryan, here's the thing. He spoke about Stephen A., him being annoying. There's a difference between 28-year-old Jon Jones that I fought, where I annoyed him, he annoyed me, we despised each other. He wanted to kick my butt, I wanted to kick his. But at 28 years old, he was willing to go and put the work in necessary to get the job done. He said something recently. He said, I hated that man so much, I couldn't imagine losing to him. Well, you hate Tom Aspinall, but you're 38 now. You're 38 and you've lived a little bit of a harder life, and you're like, man, do I really want to go to this place to beat this young guy? And Stephen A., Molly, Ryan, there's one thing that two guys have that none of us else have. Jon Jones and Khabib Nurmagomedov. They don't have that visual of them getting beat. Nobody else has that. Even the great George St. Pierre got beat by Matt Serra. There's no visual of him getting finished. He thinks that that's a possibility with Tom Aspinall, so he's not willing to take that chance.
Argument. What about guys, and especially with you two guys, I asked this, and I said this yesterday right here on First Take. What about the argument that you're still fighting, you're one of, if not the greatest ever, and this young lion wants you, is begging for you. You've already been on the record saying he annoys you to the point where you don't even want to take questions about him, for crying out loud. That's how much he gets on your damn nerves. I mean, this could be your last fight. And I think this kind of hurts Jon Jones from this perspective. People want to see the fights that they want to see. And one of the things that the UFC has over that's why they've usurped boxing in a lot of people's eyes. Because they give you the fights that you want to see when you want to see it. Dana White is willing to make this happen. Tom Aspinall is willing to make this happen. This ain't some promoter stopping this. This is the actual fighter who is universally recognized as one of, if not the greatest ever, that doesn't want to fight. How does this affect Jon Jones in the eyes of people in y'all mind?
I think that it affects him in this regard. People will always look at, well, you had that one opportunity, John, to be the older guy. Because you guys know, from professional wrestling to fighting, you don't really, Muhammad Ali fought against guys that he knew. He fought Larry Holmes, and Larry Holmes was a training partner of his, and he knew that he would struggle with him and got beat. The great champions always fight the next guy. You give them an opportunity to see if they can be the man. John's not giving that. That's where it's going to affect him in the eyes of the fans. Where they go, this dude did not drop that ladder and let some guy get an opportunity to climb it when he was the man and he was older. Now, he'll always be undefeated. Stephen A., you said it. He only lost by disqualification. In time, people will start to forget that Tom Aspinall was the one that made him walk away. But the most daunting thing and dangerous thing to his legacy is the fact that Tom Aspinall said a while ago, Ryan, I will retire Jon Jones without fighting.
Yes.
He went on record and said that, and then for it to become true, that hurts Jon Jones.
Jon Jones, and I guess I could say this on TV, Jon Jones had this level of badass to him that to me is now gone. Jon Jones had this, I do hate Daniel Cormier. We're going to get into it at the press conferences, and then I'm getting to the octagon, and I'm going to do what I have to do. When Gus took him to the brink, we saw Jon Jones dig deep, and as he said, that warrior spirit became a part of who he was. And moving up to heavyweight, that's what it was supposed to be. We were finally getting an opportunity to see Jon Jones at some sort of deficit because of the size of the men he'd be fighting. And then with Tom Aspinall, it was quickness, it was skill, it was power. It was the opportunity for Jon Jones to do one of two things. To say that beyond a shadow of a doubt, and no matter what the age, he's the best, the greatest, the most skilled killer we've ever seen in the octagon, or it was time for him to pass the torch and allow Tom Aspinall to be the guy.
Guys, we got to go. Last questions. Yes or no answer.
Yeah.
Do you believe Jon Jones makes this decision if it was Alex Pereira? Yes.
No.
If he was fighting him.
No.
He
was fighting Pereira. And Stephen A., guess what? He would have fought Pereira, and guess what? And I'm going to say this as we exit. Jon Jones would have probably beat Tom Aspinall. He's that good. You don't know that he would lose. He's honestly that good. He could have beat Tom Aspinall.
So he walked away.
I agree. DC, real quick. The PEDs, the long layoffs, not fighting Aspinall. Did Jon Jones in some way ruin a legacy that could have been the greatest in combat sports of all time?
And here's my answer to that. The only reason,
one of the best of all time.
Here's my answer to that. The only reason it's in danger of being tarnished is because he didn't take this fight. Because we haven't been thinking about the past transgressions. We would think about this fight. And the fact that he's not fighting this guy, and it's believed, like the great DC himself is saying, yo, he's walking away because he does not want to fight this guy. That's bad.
But what if it's not that he's ducking him, to their point, and Ryan can speak to this, how difficult it is to get on the football field every Sunday. What if he just doesn't have the want-to of what it takes to do it again? He's just,
that happens.
And that's
that
what
happens.
it is, Stephen A., right? And you don't want to cheat the game. But, like, you don't want to put yourself through the camp and all of that.
They would know better than me. I'm not in any way accusing the great Jon Jones of anything. I'm simply saying, if people believe, if you walk away and people believe it's because you didn't want to fight a guy who is now the undisputed champion, who, by the way, has been calling you out, who you said you can't stand, to the point where you don't even want to address questions about him. If people believe that's why you walked away, that is not good. That's all I can say about it.
I just don't think Jon Jones is really done, but we'll see how it all plays out.
Well, I'll tell you this much. If he does come back, it better be to fight that guy. He can't come back for somebody else. He got to be to fight that guy.
If somebody beats
that guy right there.
If somebody beats Tom Aspinall, he better not come back. If somebody beats Tom Aspinall and he comes back, that's going to be real bad.
And DC will be the first. DC will be the first, one of the first people. DC will be number one, and RC will be number two. They'll be way ahead of me in calling Jon Jones out if Jon Jones comes back to fight somebody other than Tom Aspinall. Everybody. Dana White came to me and told me, look, Aspinall wants that guy. I hadn't even heard of Aspinall. I watched him a couple of times.
If he's really retired,
if
he's really retired as a fight fan, I'm sad. I'm glad I saw him
very
fight
sad
at MSG.
because I think he's the greatest.